Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wrap, brought to you by Michigan Medicine Headlines. I'm Dan Elman with the Department of Communication.
And I'm Maggie Callahan, also with the Department of Communications, and your co-host for today's show. In just a minute, we're going to meet 4 colleagues who are helping revamp the performance management system here at Michigan Medicine.
Now, before we get into that conversation, be sure you manage your performance by going back and getting caught up on any episodes of The Wrap you may have missed, including last week's show featuring the organization's interns. You can find them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any other podcast hosting platform. New episodes can also be seen on the Michigan Medicine YouTube channel and as part of the Headlines Week in Review.
With that, let's talk about performance management. First, can the 4 of you please introduce yourselves and the roles you play every day?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Cole, and I work in organizational learning. For the context of today's conversation, we are responsible for the staff and leader performance management process.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Button. I'm a project manager with organizational learning and helping out with the staff and leadership performance process.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rob Wanacott. I work for nursing. I am the manager of the Nursing Information Services Department, and we oversee the Bargain for UM-P&C performance evaluation system.
And hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Dunnick, and I work for and with Rob in Nursing Information Services. And I'm a nurse, and I'm also the nursing webmaster, where I do many nursing websites and work on other projects like the Nursing Performance Evaluations project.
Love it. Well, thank you so much to all of you for being here. Now, Brian and Sarah, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the new performance management process?
I'd love to. So while this change may seem new to many people, we've actually been preparing to move online together for about the past 5 years. As an example, those of us who have been involved with this process may think back and remember when we implemented quarterly check-ins. And then based on your feedback, we created some templates that people really liked and some open-ended questions that people have used quite a bit. There were also development plans that have been implemented around focusing on career and professional development and integrating that into the performance management process. And we transitioned to a year-round performance management process to allow us to make adjustments as our environment changed. So all of these great features that we created together on paper, if you will, are being transitioned into our new system. So in a sense, it is a new system, but it's really the same process. One thing that I think people will really enjoy, I know I do, is that we no longer need to fight with Microsoft Word to get our information in there and then figure out how to submit this document online. All these processes are now going to be online, and I'd love to hand it off to Sarah Button to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So essentially the focus throughout the year will remain the same. So folks will still start in quarter 1 by setting their goals. Quarter 2 will focus on check-ins and those mid-year reviews. Third quarter will focus on 360 reviews. And then the fourth quarter will be getting you across the finish line and completing that annual evaluation. So, tracking your progress from quarter to quarter in the new system will be much more seamless. So when we go live, folks can expect to create and track those goals right in Cornerstone. And when leaders and employees meet to discuss those goals, they can create a check-in right in Cornerstone to capture that discussion. A really cool feature is that leaders will also be able to create and cascade department-specific goals too that their employees will be able to see. So information will be saved all in one place. You'll spend a lot less time searching for and using those Word documents like Brian mentioned. No need to print out evaluations. You'll be able to electronically sign and submit. So just overall a more streamlined process.
That's great. Members of the Michigan Medicine community have different cadences and requirements for performance management and evaluation. Kathy and Rob, how do nursing evaluations and performance management differ from what other Michigan Medicine employees do?
Thanks, Maggie. I think one of the biggest differences is nursing really revolves on the hire date. And that anniversary year after year is when the evaluations are done, which is very different from the rest of the hospital, which is really at the end of the fiscal year. Thus, nursing is constantly have to keep up with who's due this month. And so that's been a very manual process that our AAs have undertaken, and they've done it well. But to now have a tool that, in essence, automates that functions for them is really great. Cornerstone keeps us updated with who's coming up based on the feed that we get from HR from their anniversary date. So that is great. Two big things that will be streamlined really is the embedded peer evaluation selection. So that used to be something that was done by email by the staff that were doing the evaluations. They were often then having to take the summary, put it into the evaluation. It's now going to be incorporated into one. And something that is really going to be highly desired by our staff is the fact they don't have to download a file onto their H drive, which is difficult to work on our kiosk computers in the hospital. It's really going to be replaced with a tool that allows them to work at any time. And that's huge. And the reason why that is many of our staff get pulled away. They start working on it at work. Something happens to a patient. The nurses have to get up and leave. And the ability to save their work on the fly, go and do the patient care that's required, and then come back to it and not lose anything is huge.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, for sure. And as Rob mentioned, the cadence of our nursing performance evaluations, it's a little different from other Michigan Medicine staff. So where the staff evaluations break the process into 4 quarterly parts, the nursing evaluations are done just once a year. And they're on that rolling basis based on the anniversary date of the nurse's hire date. So the nursing evaluations in general, though, will continue the same process that our Bargain for framework and our SAM nurses have followed for years. And the steps are still the same. And this is all part of the nursing contract. Those steps are first to get peer feedback and cover all the domains of your role. Second is to complete your self-evaluation in the form, which is now online. And the third is to meet one-to-one with your unit leadership.
So have you two sort of worked with nurses and gotten any feedback on how these changes are really going to affect their day-to-day work?
Yes, so there'll be a more streamlined process for all of this. So as we mentioned earlier, there won't be any more fillable PDFs, which have been kind of a bear for everyone. No more saving to H drives or emailing back and forth, because the peer feedback is streamlined right within Cornerstone. That will really help. Everything will be completely online. It's a true online platform. Of course, the one-to-one meeting still needs to be in person between the nurse and their unit leader. Then another new feature that's going to help everyone in nursing is the new development plan. So that is, we're calling it a tool that will empower nurses to create their annual goals. They will be able to set steps in there to track their progress. They can enroll in online e-learning, like taking a LinkedIn Learning class or taking a Charge Nurse class right online and tracking their progress throughout the year. And they can do this all from within Cornerstone. We also have incorporated a tip sheet with suggestions that is based on real Michigan Medicine nursing data for how the nurses could set goals and strive for things that are the most important initiatives in nursing and in our organization going forward. We've also simplified and streamlined this a bit and shortened some of our questions. So we've aligned nursing with the Michigan Medicine core values questions. So this is a shorter question list and replaces the previous longer question list called performance expectations for all employees.
You did a perfect segue for me, Kathy, without even realizing it, I think. Thank you. But I think that these resources show that we're really listening and we're trying to meet our employees where they are across the institution. Brian and Sarah, now that we're shifting to this digital platform for evaluations and goal setting, can you tell us about the resources your team has built to support the shift?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. This is a really big change. So we want to make sure that we're providing as much help as we can in as many modes as we can to make the shift to online as smooth and as successful as possible. So we've been working hand in hand with our partners from the HITS Workforce Applications team, Learning and Design team, and then our HR managers throughout the project to develop that training material that we'll be rolling out here soon. We'll have step-by-step guides, tip sheets, helpful videos that people will be able to access at any time throughout the performance management process. Brian and I will continue to offer information sessions that will cover the performance management process broadly, and then focus on specific features within Cornerstone, given the time of year that we're in. So we'll also be offering what we're calling office hours that are more drop-in style sessions where you can come and ask questions and we can walk you through the system sharing our screen. Another big part of the strategy will also include training our HR business partners to just know the ins and outs of the system so that they can really feel empowered with the tools and the knowledge to support their areas as we get into this new way of doing things. And then lastly, our performance evaluation resources webpage is still going to be up and running. So folks will be able to find what they need to do each quarter. In there, there's frequently asked questions, important dates. So when in doubt, check there. You can always search it via Google, just search for UMich performance evaluation.
That's great. Obviously, a lot of resources out there. Now, when this system changes over, I am most excited about not having to figure out how to do my digital signature because I could not. That used to take me at least a half an hour every single time. It would take me longer to do that than do the valuation. So I'm excited about that, but I want to know for the four of you, what are you most excited about with these changes? Brian, let's start with you.
Well, I must say that I'm in the same camp as you, Daniel, and trying to figure out these digital signatures. I'm so glad this is going to be part of our system this year. I'm also excited that we're literally bringing these processes into the 21st century. So we're no longer back in the 90s and how we're doing stuff and how stuff was done. But, you know, in all seriousness, really with so much change happening around us at Michigan Medicine and people's plates being so full, my hope is, and my excitement is really around this new system should help people be more efficient in their work as they go through this process. So, I mean, it'll take a little bit to get up to speed. And as Sarah has shared, we have a lot of great education and office hours to help support people. But we've used this system a lot and we found it rather intuitive. So I hope that once people get used to how this system works, it's actually a lot faster to utilize some of these new features that Cornerstone offers. As an example, I was in the system literally this morning, and my favorite feature is this Your Tasks widget. So I log in and right front and center, I see all of the things that I need to do and all of the dates that they're due. So instead of searching, I just click on one of these tasks. It takes me right to where I need to go. I complete that task and it goes off of my tasks list. So for me, this involves, like I shared, a lot less searching, so a lot less time there, and a lot more transparency about what I need to do and when I need to do it.
If I can share, I am excited to see the process just contained in one system, one easy location. So, you know, having the visibility and the access to, you know, your goals, your development plan, check-ins, feedback, the evaluation, all in one location will hopefully just make for a more seamless experience throughout the year. And then when you finally submit your evaluation, I too was just in the system this morning. And so far, I really love that I can access my development plan and can connect LinkedIn Learning courses right within that development plan. And so not only can you be just more intentional about the learning that you're doing, that is visible to your supervisor as well. So it's something that you can share and have documented right in the system. So I love that piece.
I think I'll go next. So something I'm really excited about is the feedback that's going to be coming our way. So for the past several years, the feedback we've received from our current system, we'll call it constructive. But the fact that we have been able to address virtually all of those feedbacks that we've gotten is something I'm very excited to see. The initial piece that we've seen on demonstrations has been incredibly well received. And so I think that has been really excited. The fact that we have this robust online system where everything is housed in one place is fantastic. The fact that I can go and look at my previous year's performance evaluation to kind of see, you know, how they do is really something that's going to be really interesting and awesome to see.
I'm excited about everything you all said too. And if I had to pick one feature that I was most excited about, I think it would be the development plan. This is new. It's really cool. I love that it's integrated. I love that I can assign myself specific learning to take and track it. And just without even having to track it, I can show that I finished my goal there. So this will add a really meaningful way for nurses to track their goals and also meet current initiatives, as I mentioned earlier, in the organization and in the nursing profession.
All of these are very exciting benefits that we're bringing to our employees. And I think people are going to react really positively to these changes because I do feel like, the digital signatures really hang people up. But more than that, we want folks to engage with this document all year round. And this really makes it a lot easier to do that. So this is really exciting. Sarah, where can employees learn more about how this change impacts them?
Yeah, so folks can go to mishmed.org/performance for more information. And if you still have questions that haven't been answered via the website, then you can just reach out to us at cornerstone@med.umich.edu.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, and thanks to all four of you for sharing this important information. And it's not that common that we have something that really will affect just about everyone here at Michigan Medicine, and this change will affect just about everyone. So I think that this is an important conversation to have, and I know that there will be stories and conversations, moving forward, and you can find those stories in the weeks and months ahead at mmheadlines.org. That's mmheadlines.org.
Okay, it's time for the lightning round when we ask one of our guests 4 quick fire questions. Kathy, it's your turn in the hot seat. Are you ready to go?
I'll do my best.
All right. So we've talked about technology, and Brian mentioned, trying to bring things into the 21st century. So what is one piece of technology that you can't live without?
Oh, my cell phone.
I think that's going to be the answer for most people, Dan.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
We will. August is National Dog Month. Do you own any dogs? And if not, are there any pets in your family?
These are really hard questions.
They're so hard. I know.
I do own a dog, so that's very exciting. I have a little dog. She's very sweet.
And what's
and
her
what
name?
is her name?
Her name
I
is
need to know.
Cupcake.
Oh, that's
Cupcake.
amazing.
Kathy, we need pictures for our readers and listeners as soon as this is over.
You bet.
All right, this might be a little bit harder than coming up with the name of your dog. If you weren't here working at Michigan Medicine, what would you consider to be your dream job?
Oh, I think that I would train racehorses if I could, if I had the skills and the money and the background.
That's not what I expected, and I really like that. Okay, that's an awesome answer. And the last few weeks have been dominated by Barbie and Oppenheimer. So here's a 2-for-1 question. Have you seen either of those movies? And what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, goodness, that's 2-for-1. So I did see Barbie. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet because the weekend was gorgeous and there was way too much to do outside. So, and my favorite movie of all time, I have way too many, but I would probably lean toward Notting Hill.
Solid choice.
Yep.
Yeah. So Hugh
All
Grant.
Right. Yeah, my favorite Hugh Grant. That's yeah. Obviously, there is Notting Hill, Love Actually. You can't go wrong with Love Actually.
Right.
Yeah, every Christmas, that's what I'm watching. So, well, thank you so much, Kathy, for playing along today. And thank you to all of our guests for giving some insight into the new performance management process here at Michigan Medicine. Once again, if you want to learn more about the changes that are coming, go to mmheadlines.org. That's mmheadlines.org.
And while you're there, you can check out other featured stories from this week, including a look at 2 impressive honors, one for the organization's adult hospitals and one for the Health nursing team. Find those stories and more at mmheadlines.org.
All right, Maggie. So you sort of previewed this already. We had asked Kathy what piece of technology she couldn't live without. So I assume for you, it's your cell phone?
I think it has to be. I was going to try to be cool and say something like my new washing machine, but it's got to be the cell phone because and I talk about this all the time. I remember very vividly my mom printing out instructions on where to go all the time.
Yes.
And I don't know if I could drive and navigate that way.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
feel like for everyone's safety, GPS.
This is true. Oh, I remember MapQuest and printing out MapQuest
Yeah.
directions. And I'm like, okay, in 0.4 miles, I'm turning left here. And I'm like
Yes.
trying to find, I'm like a reporter in inner city Chicago trying to find this and looking at my MapQuest. And I'm like, holy cow, how did I do that? And not just have it
Very
on the screen?
dangerous.
It was,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. So I guess that, but I would think of that as GPS, not really a
I guess
phone.
GPS.
Yeah.
It might be
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was cooler.
Um,
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, so I mean, GPS is a great answer.
Mhm.
But I feel like this is probably like the stereotypical boy answer. I'm gonna go with my PlayStation, and not because of the games, but like that's how I watch TV. We stream Hulu through it. Like you can do everything through that. Like you don't need anything else now besides the TV and the PlayStation. And I could survive with just that. You watch all your movies, all your TV, play games if you want to play games, stream YouTube if you want to do that. You can do whatever you want to do, play music. So I'm gonna go with that.
I think that's acceptable. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted your approval, so I'm glad I got it.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time for the weekly trivia contest. First, congratulations to Melissa Clive, who sent in last week's correct answer. Now for this week's question. What is the name of the UM Health Fellowship that became the first in the world to earn reaccreditation from the ANCC? Once again, what is the name from the UM Health Fellowship that became the first in the world to earn reaccreditation from the ANCC? If you guys know the answer, don't yell it out. You can find the answer in this week's headline story, and once you know it, send it over to headlines@med.umiss.edu for the chance to win a prize.
All right, well, that's all we have for this week. Thank you so much to all of our guests for joining us today. And thanks, as always, to all of our listeners and viewers for everything you do for patients, families, and each other. We'll see you next time.